Hip-hop star Jay-Z and his music label Roc Nation are holding the inaugural Social Justice Summit in New York City this weekend. The event will feature activists, entertainers, and experts to discuss the fight against social and racial injustice across the country. For more on this, we're joined by Dania Diaz, and she's the managing director of Team Roc and a founding member of the United Justice Coalition. Thanks for joining us. A lot of folks watching may not be familiar with this summit, especially our international viewers. So tell us what it's about and what you're trying to accomplish.
Thank you for having me first and foremost, Catherine.
Of course.
This is truly about having important discussions among people who care about justice, people who care about advancing equity in our justice system, which we have seen as many, many flaws on many levels. When we're looking at local, state, and federal levels of government, there are failures in each and every level, and we're looking at the ways that we can have true, honest conversations about root causes of problems, but also of solutions. We're all concerned citizens, and we want to do better, and we know that we can do better collectively.
Well, let's take that discussion a little further. We're only 4 months away from the midterm elections. So what social justice issues are you focused on right now?
Well, some of the panel discussions that will take place at tomorrow's summit are really focused on those issues that we should be thinking about when we go to the polls. And hopefully everybody would go to the polls and think about how these issues impact their individual communities. We're looking at conditions of confinement, looking at prison systems that truly, if they're meant to be rehabilitative, how do we get them to be rehabilitative places? Or how do we shut them down if they are in violation of constitutional laws? We saw that in recent months, the Department of Justice had declared that Parchman Prison, for instance, in Mississippi, has been violating the 8th and 14th Amendments. A lot of that work is the work that the United Justice Coalition has undertaken with Team Roc, Roc Nation Social and Social Justice Division taking the lead on that. So there are conversations like that we're talking about. We're talking about how to decriminalize mental health. And we'll have a rich discussion around the fact that most people who suffer from mental illness are often seen as a threat and are incarcerated when in fact they are the victims. So really looking at the systems that are in place that incarcerate people with mental illness rather than provide them with the support services that they need. We're looking at cases of wrongful conviction, a rich conversation about really looking at our justice system when it comes to incarceration, when it comes to putting people behind bars who may not have really committed a crime at all, and looking at not just DNA evidence, but looking at the flaws in the investigation process and looking at police corruption as well that are the causes of wrongful conviction cases. So these are, if you are passionate about criminal justice reform, yes, this is a place where you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to, that will certainly inform how you show up to the polls. But if you care about equity and you care about really moving toward a space where we respect one another from just a humanity perspective, and you want to take action and change laws that will uplift us all, then this is a place where you can learn a lot about that.
So on that point, what has changed for the better since George Floyd's murder?
That's a great question. I think we will have panelists who will talk about what has actually happened since. Just a quick example, we will have State Attorney General Keith Ellison talking about levels of justice, as I mentioned earlier before, but at that level, what are the opportunities and where are the opportunities to really hold people accountable? In this case, we're tired of seeing people who have the power in law enforcement get away with violence and with impunity. So I think that what we will be learning is that there have been some positive changes in terms of how we look at our law enforcement system, for instance, and where there are flaws. And I think that it's opened the conversation to really look at the different levels where people can take action at the local level to make sure that we don't see another incident like that ever again. And unfortunately, we still do. And this is why we're having this conference, because we want these conversations to happen and we want injustice to stop.
I was just taking a few notes while you were speaking, and to sum it up, it's opportunities to grow, to improve the system, and opportunities for accountability. Dania Diaz, thank you.
Thank you so much.